Richard, Dien, then Winfield.
And your official title?
Oops, sorry.
Oh, you good.
I'm a candidate for the United States Senate in the special election that is to fill the seat that was once held by Johnny Isaacson. I'm also a distinguished research professor of philosophy at the University of Georgia.
All right. So,
but I'm on unpaid leave.
Oh, all right. And first question: what prompted you to want to run for election?
Yeah, this is my second time running. I ran for U.S. House of Representatives in 2018 in Georgia's 10th congressional district, and that was after Donald Trump got elected, and I felt that we were entering a period of political crisis, and I think that has exacerbated in the last 2 years. So I'm here to bring the fight to Washington to fulfill our social rights, which we need to have recognized and enforced so that everyone has economic security and everyone can benefit from our prosperity and fight for their rights. So I'm advancing a very bold agenda that starts with a federal job guarantee to wipe out unemployment and poverty, wages, and income. And on that basis, we can deal with our climate crisis and have a Green New Deal. We can deal with our health crisis and have Medicare for all. We can deal with our immigration crisis and have comprehensive immigration reform. And in all of these, we can ensure that no one's livelihood will be endangered, thanks to the federal job guarantee. And I'm going to cap this all off with what I call legal care for all, which will do for legal advice and representation what Medicare for all does to health services. All of us can have our dream team in both civil and criminal cases and be able to defend ourselves before the law. And this represents really a new birth of freedom that I think can really not only save our democracy, but unchain it. And the time is now for solutions, especially with the crisis we're entering, with the pandemic that's developing, and the economic upheavals that it's bringing into place.
And this is your second time around running for election.
Yeah.
What will be your message moving forward? To gain the votes of maybe some that haven't met you before, or?
Yeah, I'm hoping that people will respond basically to the policies I'm putting forward. The idea that we have to attend to the social rights that have been ignored throughout our history. They were put forward by FDR in his call for a new Bill of Rights in his last message to Congress in 1944. They were renewed by Martin Luther King in his last struggle for the Poor People's Campaign. And it's a matter of really having that economic emancipation. We have too many people living paycheck to paycheck. Our rights to health care, to decent housing, to education at all levels are simply not being respected. And we need them to take care of our families and to be able to really govern ourselves as equals in a just state.
All right. And what brought you to Columbus today?
I'm here in Columbus because I'm speaking at the monthly meeting of the Muskogee County Democrats. And I'm concerned that we may not have that many chances to meet as groups as this epidemic advances. And I think we do have to take precautions to ensure that we can have a democratic election no matter what. We should think of Abraham Lincoln, who carried on with democratic elections during the Civil War. So we need to make plans. I think we need to have plans ready for mail-in ballots so we can vote even if polling stations become too dangerous to congregate in. We have to make sure that our party political conventions have plans to operate in a virtual way online so delegates can vote online, so we can carry on and to allow candidates to somehow campaign despite all the dangers that may be awaiting us.
I guess talk a little about the importance of meeting and staying active during the voting process.
Yeah, one of the biggest challenges a candidate faces is simply getting the message out. And unfortunately, money in our political system too often determines whose message gets heard. And unlike the current Republican incumbent, I don't have personal wealth to fund my campaign. She's going to spend $20 million of her own dollars on it. I don't have that. I'm not going to be the darling of any great established figures. So I both need to depend on free airtime on the press, and I think you're doing a great public service by allowing candidates to speak about what they stand for. And I have to get out. I have to get out as often as I can. Unfortunately, the coronavirus may be posing hurdles in that respect that have implications for our democracy.
All right. Anything else you care to mention that we may not have asked?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to take seriously the problem we're facing now with the coronavirus, because owing to our own policy decisions, we are particularly vulnerable compared to other developed nations. We've cut back on our funding for the CDC. Unlike other nations, we have millions of people who have no health care coverage, millions who have health insurance but can't afford to use it because of copays and deductibles, so they're not going to get the care they need to identify that they have the disease, if they do, and to deal with it. And the same thing, we haven't balanced work and family. You know, we really don't care. We haven't taken care of families. We don't have paid family leave like almost all other nations do. We don't have free public child and elder care. What's going to happen when parents have to be quarantined? Who's going to look after their children or the elders who need care? And then we don't have a federal job guarantee as of yet. So what's going to happen to all those people who are going to be laid off as all sorts of different industries have to shut down during, you know, many of the things that are happening, whether we're talking about cruise ship lines or people in the hospitality industry and many other industries, including manufacturers who depend upon supply chains going back to China. And we're just at the beginning of what has the potential to be a really huge worldwide economic crisis. And we are not providing the employees of America the security and independence that a federal job guarantee can provide by having government step in and offer anyone who can't find a job or who is laid off a decent income and something to do that will help our country.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you. Excellent. Will this appear on?
I think it'll be on later because
Yeah.
I'm actually coming to the